Hi, everybody. Welcome. See a couple of you still joining here. So I'll give you a couple seconds to get connected to audio so you can actually hear what I'm saying. All right, great. So I'm going to get started, be cognizant of everybody's time. My name's Claire Hoover. I am the administrator of undergraduate recruitment and retention for the College of Education and Human Development, which is a really long way of saying I work with prospective students and their families to see if our college and our programs are the right fit for you. Thank you for being here today to learn more about our interior design program. Many of you are probably already familiar with Zoom, but just know that there is that chat function, that little chat bubble at the bottom of your screen. Please utilize that throughout the presentation. If you have any questions, put them in the chat as they come up, because there will be time at the end where we can open up to questions and you can get those questions answered, because ultimately the goal here is to make sure you know all about the program, make sure you know it's the right fit for you. So again, my name is Claire Hoover. I'm the recruiter for the College of Education and Human Development. And then I'm going to have Gretchen, my grad assistant, introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gretchen Thomas. I'm the graduate assistant for the College of Education and Human Development, and I specialize in recruitment for undergraduate students.
All right, so again, thank you for being here for the interior design info session. I'm really excited because this is the first time where we've been able to show a classroom space during the info session. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it along to Sarah to talk more about the interior design program. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining our virtual session tonight. So if you can see on my camera view, you'll see a view of our interior design studio here at BGSU. So right now we have students working at all of the workstations, and each workstation has a computer with design software as well as a drafting table. So I wanted you to be able to kind of see what the setup is here. And then I'll go ahead and share my screen so you can see my presentation for you. And I think you can still see the studio in your view as well. So, we have 3 faculty members here, and I am one of them. My name is Sarah again, and then I'm also joined by Renaud. Renaud, if you'd like to just say hello.
Hello.
Renaud's joining us, and we also have another faculty member, Dr. Popov, who is not here tonight, but he teaches a lot of classes along with us. So the 3 of us teach the studio classes, and then we also have some adjunct faculty who teach as well. So our program helps you work towards a Bachelor of Science in Interior Design. We are accredited by the National Association of Schools of Art and Design, or NASAD for short. And that's through the School of Art. So we are an accredited program. It's a mix of studio and lecture-based courses. And it's a sequential program, which means that you'll move through the classes, the interior design-based classes, together with your class. And you'll do them in a certain order, and we'll help you figure out what that order is when you start. And throughout that program, you'll have 6 interior design studio courses, which focus specifically on design, and the fundamental studio courses, which you'll take in the beginning, focus on drafting, rendering, and building all of your skills. And then as you move up to the higher level studio classes, you'll start to design using computer software, and you'll get into more advanced parts of design. And we cover both residential and commercial design throughout all of our studio courses. So then in addition to the interior design specific courses, you will also take courses in art, architecture, art history, construction, mechanical, and building engineering. And so you'll have a wide range of subjects to help back up your interior design knowledge. We also have study abroad opportunities. They've been on hold the past couple of years, but we're hoping to start them up again soon. And the past students have gone to Italy, to England, to Turkey, and to some other places in Europe. And we're hoping to do a Germany, Austria program in the future. And then also as a part of your time at BGSU, you'll do an internship or a co-op. So you will graduate with some real life work experience when you graduate from our program.
So I'm going to step in. I'm going to talk about some skills or stuff that you want to walk the program with. Well, actually, you don't have to be an artist or anything. And okay, it says my internet connection is unstable. So you think that I heard students when they were designers or coming into the program is what should I sketching, drawing level. Honestly, they don't great or you be an artist. We will help you build. We will build you from ground up, help you develop those hand drafting and those sketching skills. And then as you move through the program, you all the software you need, especially now, technology is huge. Every company uses it. So we'll teach you how to use AutoCAD, Revit, Photoshop, all the that you work with for your design. So you want to learn how to design a variety of residential and commercial projects. Like Sarah said, we do both. So beginning of 2 years, we have a mix. Move into junior, we focus on residential, and then senior, it's more commercial focused, but you will go and residential. And of course, you have to walk the program with a portfolio. We will help build one. So when you graduate, you have something to show employers, showcase what you've done here at BGSU. And of course, the class or the sustainable universal design class. And of course is to get certified, take the test, help get that certification, your resume. And of course, if you're thinking of going into that field or right there, that will help you kind of, what's the right word I want to say? Advertise that you know the basics of sustainable design, everything that has to deal with green design, and you're ready to go.
And that'll give you sort of an advantage to other students who haven't gotten that certificate.
100%. Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. Yes.
Sure. Okay. So we just wanted to show you some of the studio work that students have completed at each level of the program. So this is just to show you some of the work from the freshman studio. And what you see here on the left side is a hand-drawn 1-point perspective drawing. It's hand-drawn and drafted and hand-rendered, which means that everything you see in the image was produced by hand. And so you don't have to know how to do any of these things before you join our program. We will teach you how to develop these skills and how to utilize them as you're learning to become designers. And then the example on the right side is just to show you how the materials and textiles that you would select coordinate together with your rendering on a floor plan, for example. So you can see that each of the materials that are shown are visible in the rendering of the floor plan, which again is hand drafted and hand rendered. So it's all done by hand. And this is typical of how you might present a project concept to a client so that they can see exactly what everything will look like in their design. So we'll work with putting patterns together, colors together, developing hue schemes, and then bringing everything together for the project as a whole. Then in the sophomore studio classes, we move on to some more advanced drawing methods like orthographic drawings, which you can see here on the left, which is a 3D projection of a floor plan so that you can see how all of the elements relate to each other in that 3D view. And then in the middle, you can see a kitchen perspective drawing, which relates to the floor plan that's on the right side. So this is a perspective of that floor plan, and it's helps to show clients a 3D view of the space, because when you look at the floor plan, you're only getting that flat image of what the space planning will look like. And when you show them a perspective, when you learn how to draw and render a perspective by hand it can help them visualize how the space will really look when it's finished. So again, all of these drawings here in the sophomore studio are drafted by hand and rendered by hand. Everything is done by hand, and you don't have to know how to do any of it before you start our program. We'll teach you how to develop those skills.
And then moving into your junior studios, this is where you start using the software that you've learned and you start applying it. So if you take a look here on the left side, the perspectives are actually done in Revit. And then the floor plans and the elevations on the right are done in AutoCAD. So you'll learn both AutoCAD, where you'll draw your floor plans, your just 2D. When you move into your 3D, you would start. This project right here is of a bathroom and a kitchen. So again, sticking to that residential and commercial spaces for both, but that's what you do in your junior year. And then this is a senior project in our senior studio. This is a commercial, it's a restaurant. And again, everything that you see is done through AutoCAD and Revit and Photoshop. But mostly the perspectives that you see, this is all Revit right here, and the floor plan as well. Actually, the student used Revit for the whole project. Yes, even the section cut. So Revit and AutoCAD are going to be precious because from experience, both me and Sarah know that companies and firms do use AutoCAD and Revit as of now.
And if there are other 3D software that they use, once you know Revit, it's really easy to apply that to those other types of software. So even if you work for a firm that utilizes something else, it's good to have Revit as a skill to back that up.
100%, yeah. And another big thing, because I meet with a lot of families before when they want to walk through our program. Number one question that I get is, what careers do students have, or students have in interior design? And there are multiple things that you can do with an interior design degree. You work at dealerships, you can do sales, you can at firms, interior design and architectural firms. You can work on your own. I know a lot of students and people who I graduated with who actually their own interior design companies. Again, like I said, sales, both in commercial and residential, not only in furniture, but you can do it in materials. You can work in paints, you can work in flooring, you can work in ceilings if you wanted to. Consulting is a big one that I know a lot of people go into. Management, drafting, and millwork is another big one that I had a lot of my students who graduated last year get jobs in millwork, which is an awesome thing. But yeah, there are a lot of things that you can do with an interior design degree. And if you want to add to that, but I think I covered most of it, but yes.
Yeah, and that's not even everything. There's other things that haven't been mentioned. It's really where you find what you would like to do with your career. So there's lots of possibilities once you have those skills to back up your design career. So a little bit about our specific program. We're a very small program, which means that we can be focused on the students. And so we really try to help each individual student succeed in the program and make sure that there's no one who's falling behind or who isn't really progressing together with their class. So we do offer a lot of individual help if that's needed, or in our studio classes, they're actually twice as long as a normal class. So we have time to do individual consultations with each of the students, and we'll spend time with you individually working on your interior design project. And then also we'll spend time in groups doing design charrettes or other types of collaborative efforts to help you also learn from your colleagues in the program. And another way that students have really found to be connected in our program is through the American Society of Interior Designers, which is actually a national organization, but we have a BGSU student chapter. And the students have the opportunity to develop some leadership skills by joining the student executive board. And also, if you're a freshman or sophomore and you're not ready to take on a leadership role, you can just become a member and participate in the monthly meetings and activities. They plan some educational meetings and also some that are just for fun, just to get to know your classmates and colleagues. And there's also a lot of networking opportunities with professionals in the field. And then every spring, there's an annual trip to Chicago, which again, they weren't able to do the past 2 years, but hopefully we'll be able to go again this year. And when you're in Chicago, you'll get to go to the Merchandise Mart and visit showrooms that are open to the trade only. So it will be showrooms that you wouldn't be able to see otherwise if you weren't going as an ASID interior design student. And also just get a chance to see some architecture outside of Ohio and get an idea of what some of the architectural and interior design possibilities are in a big city like Chicago. So if you're interested in learning more about ASID, you can look at their website. It's just asid.org. But the students really find that organization to be helpful just to get to know each other and to build friendships too within the program. So we actually have some students with us today that are members of interior design, actually all of the ones who, members of ASID. All of the ones who will be speaking to you today are actually on the executive board. So we're going to have a few students just share a little bit about their experience with the interior design program in general and ASID. And then we'll have one student who's in the senior studio show you a little bit of what she's working on in her studio class. So I guess we'll start with Erin. Yes, Erin, go ahead and unmute so that we can hear you, but you don't have to turn your volume on.
Hi, is that okay? Okay. Hi, I'm Erin. I am the Vice President of ASID. And to get started to talk about ASID, so really our main goal is to help students kind of, get together, and we do different things. And we also have a few networking opportunities. So we haven't so much in the past few years because of COVID, but normally we go out on field trips and we look at different places, or we have people come in and talk. We've had a few people this year do it from different flooring companies and different wall covering companies. So we have that opportunity, and through that you have internship opportunities. And we also have the Chicago trip that has been based on. Our president and a few of our other executive members are actually meeting as we speak to discuss different things around the Chicago trip. And to touch a little bit on my experience in the interior design program, I have loved it so far. All my friends are here, and it's really fun because when you're in the studio, you get to see people that are working on all different things, and you get to form relationships with older classmates and younger classmates. So it's always a really good time. And so thank you for listening to me.
Okay, and then next will be Ella.
Hi, everyone. I'm the secretary for ASID. And I'm going to start off with talking about my experience with the interior design program. For my first year, I was a biology major, for the first semester, and I ended up not liking it, and I decided to try interior design. And I was nervous at first. I thought I was behind. I wasn't as far as everyone else was in my classes, but because it was such a small program, I easily picked up on it, and it turned out to be a really good decision for me because I have really enjoyed interior design. And with it being a small program too, it's more personal, and I know almost everyone in my classes, which is actually, say if you're a business major, that's like not a normal thing, but I'm glad to have made many friends through it. And then with ASID, I've been a member since my freshman year, but I joined the exec board this year and I really, really like it. I'm in charge of planning events, and then the secretarial stuff like minutes, attendance, stuff like that. But overall, I've had a really, really good experience with both the program and ASID.
Okay, thank you, Ella. And then next we have Emma.
Everyone, I'm Emma. I am the junior rep for ASID. My experience in interior design, I've loved it so far. I came in with zero. I didn't take art since 6th grade, and I came in with zero art abilities, and I think I have been doing pretty well. The professors and students helped me through it, so it's really fun. So you really don't need any art. You don't need to know art or anything when you come in. For ASID, I've been a part of it since my freshman year. I just came into the exec board this year. I just tell my classmates when the meetings are and what we do, and stuff like that. I just keep everyone informed. So yeah.
Okay, thanks, Emma. Next we have Jordan, who's in the senior studio, and she's going to share her screen with us. So I'm going to just give her, actually, Claire, can you give her permission to share her screen?
Yes, give me one moment. Let me find her on the list.
And I will stop my share.
See if that gave you co-host, so it should show share screen at the bottom of your screen if you have that, Jordan.
Yes, I just did. Thank you.
Perfect.
So first off, my name is Jordan. I am a senior. It is my first semester as senior year. And our project that we're working on currently is an office. And so I'm working in the program Revit that they talked about a little bit. And this is kind of like what one of our floor plans would look like. I'm mostly done with mine at this point. This is what it would look like. Even when you are doing hand renderings, the general bones of this is kind of like what you're going to see and create. And then with a program like Revit, something that is really cool about it is that you can turn it into something like this and put everything into color. And you can get actual real furniture from real dealers and put it in here. It's really a cool program that you learn to use. And another really cool thing about Revit is that you can also, it really brings the entire thing to life. You can, as you're building it up from the bottom, it becomes 3D as you create it. You learn to put colors to things, materials to things, just really all the bones that you need to know to create a space. And this is what we've been working on since the beginning of the semester. We start working on it at the beginning, the very early steps of design, and creating the basics of it, and then slowly working our way to the end of the year when it's due as our final. And that's that. That's all I got.
Thank you, Jordan.
Stop sharing. Stop sharing.
Okay, thanks so much for sharing that, Jordan. And I think we're ready to open it up for questions. Let me share my screen again because I have contact information for you in case you want to contact Renaud or me directly with any questions, but go ahead and also feel free to ask questions now and we can answer those for you.
So I have a couple questions that came in, several questions that came in on the chat. So I want to get those answered first, just because they came in. One of the questions was, because I did mention, I know Lubo typically recommends a PC over a Mac, just in terms of the way that the programs run. And so the question was, will students need to buy their own supplies and technology, or is that provided to them? So what does the program provide? What does BG provide? And then what do they need to spend their own money on?
That's a good question. So we have this interior design studio up here that has 14 stations with computers that have all of the software that's required. So students are always welcome to work here. We also have a drafting room downstairs in this same building that has 5 computers and also 5 drafting tables. So students are welcome to work there when there's classes going on in the studio, for example. As far as things that you need to purchase yourself, you will, for one of the architecture classes you take, you'll purchase an architecture kit, which has like the pencils that you need, your architectural scale, and all of the different supplies that you'll need to do hand drafting. And then as a part of the first studio course, you will purchase the rest of the supplies that you need to do hand rendering, things like Prismacolor markers and colored pencils, tracing paper, all of that. And we have a complete list for you so that you know exactly what to buy, exactly what you'll need. And we collaborate with the Art Supply Depot, which is a local company who will put together a kit for you if you choose to purchase through them. And they're really helpful if you have any questions about any of the products or anything that you need to buy. So for your first architecture class and your first studio class, you do have to invest in some supplies. And then for the other classes, basically what you just need is a computer that can run the design software. And we have all of the requirements for the computer on the website. If you are not ready to purchase a computer yet to have on your own, you are welcome, obviously, to use the computers in the studio until that point. But then when you're ready to take some of the software classes like Revit and AutoCAD, we do recommend to purchase a Windows computer because Revit, for example, will not run on Mac. There are some workarounds, but it's really better just to have the Windows computer just to start off with. And again, the recommendations for exactly what type of computer to get are all on our website.
I just shared the website in the chat. So if anybody wants to look at that, it's there, but I will also make sure to include that. I'll send a follow-up email probably tomorrow, and I'll include this link so you have it. So just to make sure it's clear, the software, is that available to students? If they have a laptop, they can install it. Is it free?
Yeah, so there are student versions of AutoCAD and Revit. When you're taking the Photoshop class, there is a student subscription for that. And I think it's about $20 a month, but you only have to have it while you're taking that class. And then the rest of the time you can use the computers on campus if you need to use Photoshop or any of those programs.
Great, thank you. Just another thing to know for all of you in terms of what you can get for free. Microsoft Office Suite is free for BGSU students. So if you are buying a new laptop, don't buy it with the Microsoft Suite because that's an extra $120 because you can get it for free. At least if you were to come to BG, you get that as a student. Now you would lose it when you graduate, but it is nice to have it for the four years. Another question that came in, I thought this was great. So some schools offer a BFA for a Bachelor of Fine Arts for interior design, and our program is a Bachelor of Science. What's the difference? I wasn't aware of that, so I'm curious on what the difference is between the two.
The difference between that would really depend on the university. It just has to do with how the program was originated and the fact that with our program, you do focus a lot on the scientific methods behind interior design. So while we do have art classes that are part of the curriculum, we focus a lot on theory behind design, and that's part of why it's a Bachelor of Science versus Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Fine Arts. And a lot of that just comes from how the program was set up initially when it was started at the university.
And I think that this is something that I think comes up quite often, and it might even kind of align with that last question, is you talk a little bit about the difference between interior decorating versus interior design.
Yeah, that's one thing where there might be some misconceptions about the program when you start. Our program really is focused on interior design, not decorating. So you can think of it kind of like interior architecture. We focus a lot on really drawings and technical details. And there is some aspect of decorating when you talk about textiles or accessories that you add to a space, but that's really just the final detail. So it's not very focused on decorating. That's part of it, but we really do focus on architecture and interior design and the technical aspects of design. Do you have anything to add to that, Renan?
No, you said it perfectly, honestly.
Great, thank you. I know that that comes up often in the conversations I'm having with students. Another question that came in, let me get back to it. So can you talk a little bit more about the internship? Because I know there's an internship built into the program, and then what opportunities are near the college for students to get that real world applied experience in interior design before graduation?
So the internship is, well, they call it a co-op. So it just has, there's not really a lot of requirements for it. It just has to be interior design related. And then you have to do a specific length of time and a specific number of hours at whichever company you choose to work with. A lot of students choose to actually do an internship in their hometown during the summer. So that way they don't have to do it during the time when they're taking classes. So they can do a full-time internship and really get a good idea of what it would be like to work full-time at a design firm. Other students choose to do it during the semester. And there's a few options in Bowling Green specifically to do internships at, but for the most part, people who choose to do one in the area do an internship in the Toledo, Maumee, Perrysburg area, sometimes in Findlay. So there are things, you know, within a half hour, 45-minute drive. There's not as much opportunity right here in Bowling Green. But if you're going to do something during the summer, it's maybe a good opportunity even to go to a new city or a new state that you think you might want to work in after graduation and just spend the summer there and have an opportunity to do an internship there.
And I'm just going to add something as well. We also have students who do their co-ops that count at Sherwin-Williams. They work with paints. They help, you know, actual clients with spaces and giving them paints, calculating, and so on. Also Home Depot, but in the kitchen section or the paint section. So just as long as you're dealing with materials and you're dealing with something that's interior design related, it'll still count towards your co-op. And we like if you make sure that you get paid and just not an unpaid internship. So you want to make sure that you're specifically saying co-op instead of an internship.
And Renard, those places that you mentioned, are those in Bowling Green?
Yes, yes. The Sherwin-Williams in Bowling Green is a popular one, especially amongst interior design students, and they actually communicate with each other. So whenever a senior is leaving that position, they let, you know, the juniors and sophomores know, hey, a position's opening up, apply if you want to. And Sherwin-Williams has been awesome. The one in Bowling Green, they've been awesome with hiring interior design students.
Great, thank you. There was one other question that I wanted to ask. Oh, it was going to be where the locations that typically students do their internships. And that's the benefit of having this kind of smaller program, is that you all know each other. So when somebody's graduating, you know, you're really looking out for each other. And then I'm going to really push again to get involved in the student organization. Is it ASID? Is that what it? Yeah, get involved in that student organization, because not only is that going to help you get to know each other even more, it's an opportunity for leadership experience, which looks great on a resume, because, you know, ultimately your goal is to graduate and find a job. So that built-in co-op in our program, I didn't realize it was called co-op instead of internship, and then getting that leadership experience. And then BG has like 400 different student organizations. So there's more out there that might interest you as well to get that leadership experience. So I don't see any other questions. I want to leave like a second to see if there's any other questions that might roll in. Again, this meeting is being recorded. I will try to send the link to the recording in the follow-up email that I send. So as soon as I receive that recording from admissions, I'll make sure to get the email to all of you. I will copy Renat and Sarah on that email. So if you ever want to reach out to them, their contact information will be there. I will include a lot of information in the email I'm sending. So hopefully that can just be your reference for anything related to interior design. So then if you're like, oh, I can't remember something, you can just find my email. Again, my name is Claire Hoover, the academic recruiter for the College of Education and Human Development. So
I just wanted to add something, Claire. Honestly, this is the networking opportunity as well between each other. My first job was through a girl that I went to college with. We weren't that close, but again, it was a smaller program, not as small as, Bowling Green, but we kind of knew each other by passing. She saw my work, I know her work. And once the company that she was working at opened a position, she reached out to me and said, hey, they really want someone and I've seen your work and I think you would make a great fit here. And that's how I got my first job. So, you're actually networking right now with each other. So.
Absolutely. Sarah, is there anything else that you want to add before we wrap up for today? Oh, I see. Wait, is there a special exam that you have to sit in on for a certain certification for interior design? Sorry, that just came in.
Okay, so there's not, you don't have to get a certification. There is a certification. It's called the NCIDQ. And some states in the US require that you have to be NCIDQ certified to practice in that state to call yourself an interior designer, but Ohio is not one of those. So if you're planning on staying in Ohio, you don't have to do it. It is, however, it does give you a leg up on other students if you choose to do it. So that's something that we'll talk about in your senior year in your professional practices class, is what the NCIDQ is and how you can start getting ready to take it. So there's a section you can take when you're a senior or after you graduate. And then after you have some work experience, you'll take the final second and third parts of the exam in order to become certified. But again, you don't have to be certified to be an interior designer. It's just if you choose to do that, you are welcome to, or if you're planning on doing a lot of commercial work, sometimes they like you to at least be working towards that certification when they hire you. And sometimes they even sponsor you through that process and help you financially to get the certification. So what are some minors people choose? Or is there any combination opportunities in the ID major? I think a lot of students like to take a marketing minor or an entrepreneurship minor or something else business related, because if you're planning on having your own practice, then you'll want to have some of those skills. I can just ask the students who are in here, are there any other minors that you all are taking or are interested in or suggest? So someone's saying that one of the students has an art minor, so that would go along well with interior design. I actually think she was talking about taking furniture making classes in the art department. So if that's something you're interested in, that is available.
And Sarah, isn't there a sustainability minor?
Yeah, there's a sustainability minor. So if you're interested in green design or other aspects of sustainability, you can do that. And the one of the classes you have to take for interior design counts towards that minor as well, the sustainability class. So if you're interested in that, that's a really good option as well. And it looks like Claire included a list of options too.
And you can, if you want to learn more about that class, you can always reach out to me. I actually teach it, so.
Perfect. And I'll say from an advising perspective, looking at the interior design program, you don't have to have a minor. That is just if you are interested in adding on a minor, you can certainly do that, which anything helps to make you marketable, that's great, but just know it's not a requirement. And then I did see a question here is there a separate application process for the program? I will say from an admission standpoint, if you're admitted to BG, you're admitted to the interior design program. Renat and Sarah, is there anything in terms of progression in the program, getting the co-op, anything like that?
No, you just have to, you'll meet with your advisor and follow the graduation plan that they set for you. But there's no special application process or anything. Once you declare your major as interior design, you will get paired with someone who knows about interior design classes to be your advisor. If you come in undecided, you can still take interior design classes while you're deciding what your major will be. And if you reach out to one of us, we'd be happy to help you put together a plan if you were to choose to declare your major as interior design, even if you haven't declared yet. So that way you can get our specialized plan for your graduation, even if your specific advisor is not related to interior design while you're undecided.
Yes, I used to advise for undecided, so having the opportunity to meet with faculty from the program to get some of that advice is great. So that's wonderful to know on that. So is there a GPA requirement?
No,
Perfect.
just the standard one for the college.
Great. So if any of you here today have college credit plus credit, you've done AP classes, you've taken college level coursework, feel free to send me an unofficial transcript. I am happy to show you kind of how that fits into the interior design program, so you know how you've progressed in the program. So again, you can send me that unofficial transcript. You'll have my email address once you receive my email. I also posted it in the chat. I don't see any other questions coming in. These were great questions, so thank you for that. It shows that you're really engaged and want to learn about your program. I want to pass it off. Renat, Sarah, anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
I don't have anything else. Renat, do you?
Me neither.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank
Exactly.
you.
Thank you for showing up.
Thank you. You'll hear from me soon and you'll get the recording. So have a good night. Thank you for joining us today.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.